Go out into this big, beautiful world, and you're going to take Mercy out there, and you're going to be fine. So I'm going to ask, as we always begin in prayer when we gather as a Mount family, I'm going to ask Mr. Beckman to lead us in our opening prayer. We're going to do a few quick introductions of staff who are here with us. The URL code is up there, was up there for you with the agenda. And so really it's all about what our next steps are for our seniors. Okay, Mr. Beckman, please. Thank you.
We're going to pray the Sutrabe of Catherine McCauley, which we pray every Monday morning here in our school. So join with me. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. My God, I am yours for time and eternity. Teach me to cast myself entirely into the arms of your loving providence with a lively, unlimited confidence in your compassionate, tender pity. Grant, O most merciful Redeemer, that whatever you ordain or permit may be acceptable to me. Take from my heart all painful anxiety. Let nothing sadden me but sin. Nothing delight me but the hope of coming to the possession of you, my God and my God, in your everlasting kingdom. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Lady of Mercy.
Thank you. And at this time, Mrs. Dowell, our Director of Curriculum and Instruction, is going to introduce our staff.
Hi, good evening. If you are one of our staff members, could you please stand? All right, and as I name you in your position, just give everybody like a nice little wave. So over here on this side, we have our Director of Advancement, Mr. Chris Stiles. All right, and you know Mrs. Denegri, who's already seated, of course. We have our Senior Theology Teacher and Chair of the Theology Department, Brian Beckman. We have our Chair of our Math Department, Mr. Wu, teaches Honors Algebra 2, BC Calc and AP Calc. We have Mrs. Morris, who teaches AP Lit and Lang. We have Mr. Sartorius, who this year is teaching Geography and Psychology and AP Human Geography. Yeah. Back in the corner, we have Miss Donna Williams. She is the counselor for students whose last names are M through Z, sophomores through seniors. We have Mrs. Techmeyer, who is sophomore through seniors, A through L counselor. We have our Director of Educational Technology, Mrs. Hightower. We have our new lovely AP Gov and English teacher, Mr. Whitworth, also head baseball coach, correct? Yes. And then we have Mr. Ruiz right here, who teaches Spanish 3, and then just a variety of great classes like webcasting and cool things like that. And I'm Mrs. Dowell. I am the Director of Curriculum and Instruction. I'm going to pass this off to Mrs. Hightower, who's going to talk to you guys about technology.
Good evening, senior parents. So we've had some technology updates this year due to CARES Act funding. All of our teachers got new laptops, and we now have flat panel TVs that they can cast their laptop to and present from their laptop, and it's on a TV in their classroom. Your students still have Chromebooks. We use Chromebooks on a regular basis. Our Chromebooks are monitored through a couple of different systems. The first being we use GoGuardian. And this allows us to monitor content through their emails and their web searches. And so we're just looking for inappropriate searches. If they, search some sort of content that is not approved by our web filters, it sends a little ping email just letting us know, that they're searching for Anything from pornographic content to academic dishonesty content, self-harm, any types of those categories, it will flag that particular email and let us know, and then we can have a conversation with them about appropriate and ethical behavior online, or if it's something that needs to go to administration as far as academic dishonesty, that happens at that point as well. And then we also have just a firewall that blocks our inappropriate websites and things like that when they are in the building. Our restrictions during school hours are a little bit higher than they are after school. So we block YouTube during the school day just to keep them on task as much as possible, but then at 3 o'clock that block comes off, and then they have at-home filters as well. And so those Chromebooks are monitored during the school day and then also at home. We gave every student a Chromebook with a case on it, and that case is to protect that Chromebook. Students like to put the Chromebooks in their backpacks, and they have a lot of books, and if they take those cases off, we're seeing more damage, more broken screens, broken keyboards, those kinds of things. So if you happen to see your student's Chromebook out at home and they don't have that case that we gave them on the Chromebook, just gently remind them, or not so gently remind them, to please put that case back on their Chromebook. The first charge for a repair of a Chromebook is $25. The second repair is $75, and the third repair is the price of the Chromebook, which is $250. So, and this is over their entire span of their time here. So, we do have some students who, I've already seen one that's on his second, fix so far. So that was a rough day for him. So let's talk a little bit about Canvas. Last year, during COVID, Mount St. Mary launched Canvas as our learning management system. And what that allows is for your teachers to share academic content with your students in a way like hasn't maybe been done in the past. They can add assignments and quizzes and all kinds of things in Canvas. You as a parent have the ability to create an observer account and link yourself with your student's Canvas account so that you can check up on the things that they are doing. Canvas is our sole LMS this year, so I know there may have been some confusion in the past, like some teachers maybe not using maybe Google Classroom or other learning management systems. We're all on the same learning management system this year, and that is Canvas. If you want to change the slide, thank you. This is a video on how to pair your parent account once you create it with your student's account. And it is really great to do that. So if you haven't created a parent account and paired it, please check for this video. It has been in the rocket launch emails in the past, and it will be again this week. So go ahead and check that out. And it also shows you how to pair with multiple students. So if you have more than one student, how you can add multiple students to your parent account. And things that you want to be looking for. So I have a 5th grader, and he also uses Canvas, and I have that parent account. And it is very nice for me to be able to log in and look and see what assignments he has that might be upcoming, that I can say, we need to study for this quiz because it's upcoming in the calendar, and I see that you have a spelling test on Friday. Or I can look and I see that somehow he failed to turn in assignment 3.2 in social studies class. And so one of the questions I ask him a lot of times is, do you have any homework, or do you have anything that you need to finish working on from school? And I know that your guys' kid is not like mine, and so you probably hear the truth. But what I hear usually is, no, I'm good, I'm done with everything. And so I'll just pull out that app because they also have a mobile app that you can download on your phone as well, and just open it right there, and I can say, let's see why these things are missing, and then let's talk about, you need to go ahead and turn off that video game console and get in there and finish your work. And so, he does not love that I know how to do things like that, and now I have just empowered all of you to be able to do the same. So you're welcome. If you will switch the slide as well. Oh, we're not gonna watch the video. Let's talk about Canvas versus Power School. So even though you will see things that are graded in Canvas, Canvas is not going to be our main grade book. Our main grade book is Power School. And so you will see assignments and activities, learning activities, quizzes, things like that, all of those listed in Canvas, and there could be an overall total grade in Canvas that does not match up with Power School, and that's because we don't enter every single grade into Canvas. There may be classroom activities or things that your student is doing in the classroom with their teacher that they're getting grades for, then those go into Power School and not necessarily into Canvas. So if you're relying on Canvas as your main point for student grades, that's not the best practice. The best practice is to also have that Power School app and logged into your Power School parent account and looking at those Power School grades. So think of it as the Canvas allows you to see the window of what students are doing and how they're interacting with Canvas and what assignments are missing, but that overall grade is going to be held in Power School, and that those two may not match up. And then there are also some forms in Power School that we need all parents to complete. So for seniors, it's going to be the off-campus lunch form. We have the handbook form. There's a Chromebook form. All of those forms are in the Power School parent portal, and when you log in, you'll see forms, and then there's a whole plethora of them for you guys to fill out and give us that information back about your student. And I am available for any questions or concerns that you guys have through technology via my email address. I'm bhightower@mountstmary.org. Feel free to send me emails and ask questions as you have them, and I look forward to hearing from you if you have anything. And now I'm going to turn it over to Chris Stiles.
Thank you, Ms. Hightower. So, a couple things. Okay, you're seniors, and hopefully your children have learned lessons. But I've learned a lot of lessons here. So, the first thing is, obviously we're so proud of this Commons, and having a campaign to build it. I mean, I think we raised over $6 million to build this. It's a great facility. It's all paid off, and it's awesome. And so, but the lesson learned is next time we have a capital campaign, let's not put the projector underneath the air conditioner, because I don't know if you noticed the screen, it's got a little bounce in it. And so when we were saying the prayer, I was kind of like Moses, heavy of tongue. Literally, I thought it was like coming out like I was praying in tongues. I mean, it really was. I mean, it was, it kind of bounces a little bit. Do you notice that? And then the second thing is you've heard me probably speak at different things or be involved in some things we do here. And, this is the fourth year. And I'm thinking, these poor senior parents, they got to listen to me ask them for money for 4 years. I mean, really, if life was fair, I ought to be paying you money, for you sticking through this. But, that's not going to happen. But I appreciate you hanging in there with me all this time. So, again, I'm the Director of Advancement. I'll let you move this slide there. I just want to share, who our advancement team is. There we go. We've got a wonderful advancement team. Joy Murphy there to the left is our alumni director. She's a 1998 graduate. Carolyn Jeffries next to me is our advancement services manager. And then Tanya Averett is does our special events. And that's our team. Okay. You notice here, have any of your kids in 4 years come home and said, Mom and Dad, I need to do a fundraiser for the school, or for my football program, or my baseball program, or for the drama program. Has any of that ever happened? Did you do that back in the elementary schools all the time? Selling cookie dough and light bulbs and everything else, and none of your friends liked you and all that? Okay. Well, we don't do that here, is because we want to raise millions of dollars to build transformational, have transformational projects and really make a difference here. So, we don't do that. All the fundraising, goes through our department. Okay, go to the next slide. How many of you have signed up for your Amazon Smile and put Mount St. Mary as your donation entity? Okay, please do that. We all use Amazon Smile, and again, don't ask me the technicalities of this, how that works. But if you will sign up for that, we would really appreciate that. So every dollar counts, and they're going to give that money somewhere. So might as well come to Mount St. Mary. Okay, next. Save the date. We have one fundraising gala, or one major fundraiser during the year. Well, really two, but the major event is Magic at the Mount Gala, and that's going to be February the 12th next year, 2022. And it's going to be at the Omni. And that place is spectacular. I don't know if you've been in there yet, or obviously you've driven by and seen it on the outside, but you got to go in there sometime. It's just fabulous. So we're so excited about hosting this event there. The one thing I'd ask you to consider, tomorrow night here in the Commons, we're having our first committee meeting for that. And we would love for any of you to maybe consider volunteering. Would you consider being on a committee? We need all kinds of different, we have a lot of subcommittees in that. How do we get silent auction items? How do we recruit live auction items? We sell corporate tables. There's just a lot of things. There's volunteer work for setup, for takedown. We need volunteers. We just can't. We've got a wonderful staff, but us four can't do all that work. We need someone to help us share that load. So if you would consider that tomorrow night here at 6, if you could come by for a brief meeting, and as we start to get organized and see, who we can, plug into different opportunities or different volunteer opportunities. Okay, next. And then we have a golf tournament that is in June. Mr. Cordova is Toledo's father. We have this, who's a legend here at the school. We have his golf classic at the Jimmy Austin Golf Course in June. All right, and I don't know if I have any other slides. Oh, okay, yeah, we're going to get the beer in. Okay, don't forget about the beer. We do have an after party, like after the games here. We've kind of partnered with the Big Friendly. Okay, it's just down at Wheeler District Park, where all the new development is, down by the Ferris wheel. If you'll go in there, there's a place called the Big Friendly, and we just have a little adult after party. It's just kind of a social gathering, but if you'd love to participate, it'll be after every Friday home game. So, home football game. So if you'd love to come down there, we'd love to have you. Okay? All right. Let me just share a couple of thoughts here. I'll introduce Ms. Williams. Real quick is this. We've got a wonderful mission here. And you know this. You guys have sacrificed to pay tuition and keep your kids involved. I'm sure many of you make a lot of sacrifices to have your son or your daughter here at the school. And some of you, this may be it. This may be the last year for you, or you may have, some other younger children that are going to come through here. It really takes all of us to make a difference here. And my job is, I ask people for money. I don't know how else to say it. We don't do gimmicks and we don't do schemes, and we do a couple of events to raise money, but it's really face to face, and just asking, would you give this, would you participate this way? And so, if you can, please do. If it's meaningful to you, please do. If it's not, it's okay. I get past you're saying we got to get everybody to participate. No, we don't. We want it to be meaningful. So if it's meaningful for you to help with the gala, and you think that's where you can really make a contribution above and beyond what you're already doing, please do so. If you can make a donation, a gift to our Mount Fund, which really helps us in every area of our school throughout the year, please do so. If, before long, we're getting ready to, do another campaign. If you could contribute to that, and maybe your children aren't even going to be here anymore, and they won't benefit from that. But let me just say this: if we don't have people that want to carry on a legacy, and if everybody said, "Hey, I'm only going to participate while my kids are in school here," and then they didn't afterwards, this wouldn't get done, and a lot of things wouldn't get done. So we need your help. We really do. Whatever you can do, whether it's your talent, your treasure, your time, we need you. That's part of being a family. So, okay? We good? All right, you hold on to your pocketbooks tonight. Okay, but next time we meet, it may not be the case, all right? Okay, I'm going to introduce our counselor, Miss Donna Williams. Give Donna a hand. Let's go. Oh, and Mallory, Miss Technicat. Miss Techmeyer is a graduate. I remember her when I first met her. She was shooting 3-point shots for the girls' basketball team. She was spectacular. Can you imagine that? Now she's teaching her. It's unbelievable.
Okay, welcome. Again, I'm Donna Williams. I work with the students held for M through Z. Mrs. Techmeyer works with your students that are A through L. And really, we have an open door policy, so if one of us is busy, your child can go to anybody, okay? Or maybe they're just more comfortable. They've had Mrs. Techmeyer in class for the college prep or something. We don't care, okay? So, and then what I want to tell you too is if you have questions and if it's specific to your child, please reach out to us. I mean, this is a time we really get to know your child. We get their letters, get everything done, and then we know we've done our job when we don't see them anymore, okay? And that's usually spring semester in that. Last spring we met with you, many of you and your child sat down with you and talked about the students' 4-year plan, making sure that they were going to meet graduation requirements, and also just, what are those future plans, and do what they want to do align with the plans they have as far as their academics. We really try to stress that academic rigor. Colleges like to see that, but we also want to make sure kids are appropriately placed in their classes. We want them challenged but not frustrated, and that. Mrs. Dowell will talk later about the MAPS testing and that. So as far as your children, one of the things that we encourage the kids to really try their best on the MAPS testing is just because of the correlation between the ACT and the SAT and how they can use that as kind of a springboard to do some prep also, okay? So again, rigor is important to the colleges. We have an AP and a dual credit and concurrent programs where our students can earn college credit. So if they may have started this summer after their junior year, taking some concurrent classes, they could be taking some AP classes that they've taken their sophomore, junior, and now their senior year, where they're taking the AP tests and earning credit. Or we have dual credit classes. We partner with Newman University. So any of our teachers that have a master's degree in their curricular area, we can teach a college level class. So Mr. Winterrode's AP government class. Next spring, the students will be able to go in, and if they choose to not take the AP test, they have the choice of doing the Newman credit and paying for that. And it's when a student applies or gets that Newman credit, it's the grade that they earn on in Mr. Winterrode's class that goes on a Newman University transcript, okay? And there's advantages to taking the AP, there's advantages to taking the Newman credit, there's advantages to taking concurrent. It all just kind of depends on your child and what's the best fit for them, okay? So if you have questions about that, if your child is in chemistry with Mr. Tierney this semester, World Civ with Mr. Carey, or there's one more. Maybe it was just those two. Those classes where they could enroll in Pardon me? That psychology is not offered for college credit, no. But if, where the Newman credit, they had to have registered by last Friday, okay? But if they're in Mr. Winterowen's AP government class, they can take that. That's a spring semester where they register for that second semester for 3 credits. They can register for the chemistry class for second semester and get 5 credits, 3 for the class, 2 for the lab. Spanish lit, Spanish language, heritage Western music. So there's a lot of different classes that your child can earn that college credit for while they're in high school. Okay? Any questions on the dual credit or AP? And with the AP, the registration deadline is October 1st for the AP. So the students have to get into their AP account, their College Board account. They have to decide yes or no whether they're going to take the test. Then I'll download the students that said yes. I'll create that registration form, give that to the student. They bring that home, and then they give it to you. The tests are $96 for each test. So if your student's taking 1, it's $96. If they're taking more, you just multiply that out. And that payment, you can send a check back with that registration form, or have the student bring the registration form in because maybe they decided not to now take one of the classes that they said they were, or the test they were going to, where they can cross that off. But you can also pay online and that. So all that information will be on that registration form when they get it. The payment will be due October 22nd and that. So, and then I will place that order. Any late test ordered late, there's an additional $40 late fee. If your child registers for the test and then don't take it, there's a $40 unused test fee. There will be no online tests this year, okay? All the tests, unless something happens, all the tests will be administered paper pencil in school the first 2 weeks of May, okay? You get this one.
So your students are seniors now, and hopefully they have started creating their college list, or at least thinking about what they want to do after high school. And a lot of them, most of them are nervous, as Ms. Denegri was saying earlier. It's a big decision, and we know that. And so we really want the students to spend these next few months really diving into what that is going to look like after high school. Some students know exactly where they're going to apply. Some students have no idea what they're going to do when they step after graduation day. So hopefully you are having your conversations with your students at home about what that's going to look like. The college application process is stressful. It's a lot. It can be a lot. It has a lot of components to it, depending on the college. And so we really stressed to the students when we were in Mr. Beckman's class a few weeks ago of knowing what that process looks like for every single school, because it is different. Typically, the school will obviously have an application, demographic information. Some will have essays, some will have recommendation letters that they need to receive either from a counselor or a teacher, and then some of them will have even more things than that. And so knowing those things and knowing when the deadlines are is super important. Because most of them are in late fall. I went to an OU conference today, and they have an early action deadline now, so by November 1st is their early action deadline. And OSU and UCO typically are around then too. So knowing those deadlines and knowing if the student, when they apply for admission, is that just the admission application, or is it also the scholarship application? Knowing things like that is super important, and the only way to know that is to research and find out. So we encourage the students to come to our college visits. We have OU on campus Thursday, we had OSU last week, Notre Dame today, lots of really, really great schools that are visiting campus and talking to our students. And we told the kids, and we try to reiterate this often, a lot of the reps that come to campus or do the virtual visits are the same representatives that are reviewing the students' applications. And the OU, they even said that today. You know, if we know a student is very interested in a school, have them come talk to us, make that personal connection, because they can say, oh, I met Eric when I was at Mount St. Mary, and then you put a face with the name, and they will know if that student is a good fit for that college, and they can advocate for them, get them exposed to more scholarships, hopefully, and just knowing that is very helpful. So encourage your students to come to those college visits, and also get on campus. That is the best way for a student to really know if a college is a good fit for them, is to get on campus and get a feel for what the campus is like. I was telling the students I went on a counselor conference up in Maine, like probably 4 years ago, and we got to visit a bunch of schools on the coast of Maine, and every single school was completely different. One was very studious, academic, one was very, the college life, you could just feel it and sense it. There were kids out playing Frisbee and walking tight ropes and just doing all kinds of fun things. And so every campus was different though, and so getting on campuses and seeing what the students want in a school is a big thing. The students get 2 college visits for senior year, so if they want to go visit a school, they can go do that and have an excused absence. So we have lots of days off in the next couple of weeks, so maybe take a long weekend, go visit some schools, or if you're going on vacation, add in a day for you to visit campus as well. We also are updating Mrs. Denegri's Parent Weekly with any information that we can get about college fairs or just different things going on in the community, and we encourage you and your student to go and talk with the representatives, see what's out there, because like I was telling my students in my class, we live in a great big world, and I think the students think, oh, I better stay in Oklahoma because it's cheaper. And that's not always the case. A lot of schools, out there, private schools, out-of-state schools, they know that they have to compete with, local colleges, and so they're going to do whatever they can to help that student and make it more affordable. So those are just kind of some common misconceptions, but going to those college fairs and information sessions can be very helpful as well. As far as the applications go, the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, that opens up October 1. So put that in your calendar that all seniors need to, or their families need to apply for the FAFSA. And we've had parents say, I think we'll probably make too much money. There's no way that we'll get any financial aid. A lot of colleges are moving towards having to have a FAFSA on file in order to send out any grants or loans within the university. So we want to make sure that your student, they have a FAFSA on file, and then they send the FAFSA out to send it up to 10 schools. So kind of the timeline of this is students have to have been applied to a school, been accepted to a school, filled out the FAFSA and sent that FAFSA information before they will get any kind of financial aid award letter. So that's why we tell the students it's important in these next couple of months to make sure and do the FAFSA, because you have to have applied, been accepted, sent your FAFSA before you'll know any kind of scholarships, grants, or loans that you're going to get from a college. And so October 1 is a big deadline. Another reason for doing the FAFSA early, Oklahoma has a certain amount of money that they can award to Oklahoma students, just as the federal government has money that they award students through the FAFSA. So the earlier you do it, those Oklahoma funds will eventually run out, and they typically run out in about a month is what we've heard. So there's some grants and things that your student may be eligible for. If they waited until April, they wouldn't get it, but if they did it in October, November, they have a bigger chance of receiving those grants. So we actually have a financial aid night. Hopefully we'll get that planned in the next couple of weeks, and we'll send that out for just, if you're a first-time college parent, just maneuvering the whole FAFSA process can be a lot, and I'm actually filling it out, but then just knowing the difference between the FAFSA and grants and loans and how to make college affordable. So we'll send that information out. The one thing that you may have heard kind of in the college admission world is the test optional. It kind of started with the pandemic, and it's kind of just stayed. A lot of colleges used to require the ACT and the SAT, but now the test, many schools are test optional, including most of our state schools. And what that means is a student can apply to the college with their test scores or without their test scores. So if they do not apply with their test scores, basically they're looking at all other parts of the application and they're just not even looking at the test scores. Now the benefit, there's pros and cons to that. Some schools still want the test on file for scholarships, and so that's important whenever your student is doing their research on schools. Will this school, can I apply, be eligible for scholarships if they don't have my scores on file? So every single situation is going to be different, but I will say if a student does apply test optional, all other parts of their application need to be spot on. They need to probably be receiving recommendation letters. Their essays need to be really good because you're basically removing a part of an application that they used to use in the past. And so have your student come by or call us if you have questions on what your student should do, what school, and it's going to depend on every single student and what school they're applying to. We also offer the ASVAB. We don't have a date set, we're just kind of trying to gauge interest, but the ASVAB is a military test, and not just for students that are entering the military, but for students that may not know what they want to do after they graduate. It's a really great assessment just to give students an idea of what their strengths and weaknesses are. So hopefully we can do that this fall. We'll get that date set. And we always joke that after they do that, if the military recruiters are hounding them, call us and we'll tell them to stop. Because they really like when our students take the ASVAB because it gets them, So, any questions? We could talk for a long time about college admission. I want to say, and we kind of talked about this last week with the juniors, the great thing about Mount St. Mary is every single student creates a path for themselves. We have students in our Cornerstone program going off to college. We have students that are valedictorians, obviously going to amazing schools, and everything, students that have learning disabilities and don't have learning disabilities, and athletes and music, students in the music program. So every single student has a path for them, and it's our job, something we take pride in, is helping them find that and find the schools that are going to be the best fit for them, finding the majors that are going to be the best fit for them, and all of that in between. So please have your student come by. Some of them come often because they know we have candy, and some we never see and we have to literally drag in. So call us if you have questions or need help maneuvering this. There's no dumb question, and we'd be happy to help you.
One thing I do want to talk about with the testing, your students, our seniors, need to take either the ACT or the SAT as part of that graduation requirement. They also need to apply to 3 schools, or if they're a National Honor Society, they have to apply to 5. Have them get those done early, okay? Because we have kids every year that it's May 20th and graduation is the next day, and it's like you can't walk because you didn't apply to your 5 schools, and then they're just kind of scrambling to get applications in. Make those applications meaningful and start really looking at those schools that can help them. And we want them to apply to different schools so they can see what's out there, but also colleges are going to give different award letters. Start comparing some of the award letters once you get them. One of the reasons kids don't apply is because they think they're making that commitment to that school, and they're not ready to do that. We tell the kids, you don't have to commit to a college till April or May, okay? So go out there, start applying, start getting some information, get on those campuses, and then when April, May comes around, make your decision, okay?
Sorry, I'm kind of popcorning. Another thing too that some parents are going to cringe when I say this, but this is something the students should be doing. We know, the college admissions people know whenever parents are doing the applications for the students, and they don't like it. So make sure that, and the student doesn't have any ownership when it's something that they're not doing. So really, if you just let them do it. Let them do it. I know it's hard, but let them do it just because it really does pay off in the long run. They have a sense of buy-in. They know what they're getting themselves into, and they get excited about it. So sorry, but make sure they do it. As far as senior year is so fun. It is a fun time. Once they get all these applications and scholarship applications out of the way, it's a great time. That it's something that I'll never forget of my time here at the Mount. Right before I came up to talk, I was down in the gym watching the kids get ready for the lift up tomorrow, and there's about 40 or 50 kids down there, and what a great time for them to get involved in the school and just really feel connected. And so hopefully your student is doing that, seeking out volunteer opportunities, team boards, anything that we come across, we're putting in the Parent Weekly. So if you need help nudging your student, just email us and we can get them in, and we'll never tell them that you emailed us to do so. Many of our extracurriculars kind of went on hold last year, but they are back up for the most part. And if your student has an idea for a club or organization, they can start one. As far as student council, we allow that. And so encourage them to come to those events or extracurriculars before and after school, because obviously high school is important, but so much of high school is outside of the classroom too. And we want them to feel connected, be connected, and really learn what their interests are and what they like. Homecoming week is coming up next week. We have Student Council is partnering with National Honor Society. We have an amazing week planned. The students are excited. Ashlyn Fuentes is fired up and ready to go. She's kind of a leader behind a lot of it. And so we're really, really excited. So if they come home asking for money, make them do a chore or send them to my house and I'll make them pull weeds or something if they need some extra money. On Sunday, we have a work day from 2 to 4, so hopefully your student will come. Mr. Beckman's the senior class sponsor, so he'll be here leading the seniors. They decorate this hallway right here. It's a lot of fun, and so I encourage them to come.
Now, I was going to say, if your child has no idea what they're going to do, they're the ones that need to come in and see us the most.
Okay, up next we have Mrs. Dow. She is our Director of Curriculum and Instruction, and she's going to talk just a little bit about graduation credits and also, well, probably not much about the Diploma of Distinction because it's too late for them.
Not much. Also, if you have any questions, I know that we're already into the first semester. So you might not have questions about course descriptions or things like that, but we do have one more semester. And I just encourage you to help your kids stay fired up and finish up strong, because anybody who's ever worked in a high school before knows that around spring break time, the seniors just start checking out mentally. So just help them get across that finish line. But if you do have questions about specific courses, you can always reach out to me, or you can check out the curriculum guide, which is on our website, or you can find it at that bit.ly link. So you all hopefully know at this point that students need 28 credits to graduate. And so all of your students are hopefully like right there, almost, about to cross the finish line and everything. At the end of this semester, they should have at least 26, and at the end of next semester, at least 28. Students, if they take all 8 classes a year or a semester for 4 years, they would end up with 32 credits. And some will even end up with more than that because they've taken classes like Oklahoma history on the road and things like that. So if you have questions, actually let me put a pin in that. I will tell you how you can find out and make sure that your kids are on the right track here in just 1 second. I also want to point out that we do hold our students to a higher standard here at Mount St. Mary's, and hopefully you've experienced that over the past 4 years. Like I hear from our kids, especially those who have transferred from public school, that oftentimes our courses are harder, but we do know that, or we hope that our courses and the interactions that they have with their teachers and all of that are much more fulfilling. And hopefully, as they depart our school, they know that sometimes harder or a higher standard, while it might be less fun at times, it's really going to pay off for them long term, and they're going to be successful in college. So you can compare our 28 credits with general public schools in the state of Oklahoma. At this point, you only need 23 credits to graduate from the state. So I also want to point that out so that you guys can look back over the past 4 years and feel like you got, some extra value for sending your kids here, because they're basically getting access to 25% more courses. I think that's cool. All right. So hopefully, like we've talked about, everybody is on track to finish up strong. I do think it's important for you guys to be reminded that if your student has an unresolved, so that means a standing, it's on their report card, F or no credit, that needs to be resolved, otherwise they will not be able to participate in graduation activities. So this is another one of those things where we hold our kids to a higher standard. So how do you resolve an F? How do you resolve an NC? Well, the kid would have to make up the course. So hopefully, if your students have experienced an F or an NC, they've resolved it. If not, please make sure that they reach out to one of, like, whoever their counselor is, so that we can get them enrolled in a program where they can make up that credit by the end of next semester. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so this is how you check to make sure that your students are on the right track. Next week, I will be sharing a Google folder with you all. So this is something that we're starting with freshmen this year, and have rolled it up to our seniors. We are creating a Google folder for each of your students that has some specific information in it. It has their 4-year plan. So I'm going through and I'm checking PowerSchool, and I'm creating a 4-year plan that shows all of the different courses that they've taken and what they're scheduled to take next semester. So you can make sure that they've got all of their core credits. And your counselors, I mean, they're very good about this. So basically you're just double checking. But inside this Google folder, there will be your 4-year plan. There will be the MAP testing. This is the first year that we've tested our juniors and seniors in MAP. It is a K through 12 assessment that helps us pinpoint where students are on a learning continuum. So the reason that we decided to give it to seniors this year, there are a couple. One, it will inform you about how your students are going to do on the ACT and SAT. It gives teachers specific information about skills that your students have that could be weaknesses. And it helps teachers work on those skills so that we can turn those weaknesses into strengths. We also are using it for seniors so that we can get a good internal gauge to see how kids are growing over time here, because we really want to make sure that we're serving students. So it has been interesting because the seniors are like not into taking the MAP testing, but they have been doing a very good job, and we're really proud of them. And even though they grumped about it a lot, they did a good job, and we feel like we've produced a bunch of little smarties. So I think we're feeling good about ourselves in that respect. I will share your students' Google folder with you next week. I will send instructions about it. I hope it's not confusing. The gist of it is that you have to have a Google email account in order to open the folder. And that's because we are sharing it only with specific, like whatever your email address is in PowerSchool, we're giving that account permission. So if we have to, basically we have to do it in the system where you have to have a Gmail account, otherwise it would just be open to anybody with the link. And we're just not comfortable putting confidential information out there for just anybody to access. So watch out for an email from me. And your students will be looking at their data next week in academic period. All right, and I'm going to pass it along to Mrs. DeNegri.
All right, any questions so far? Any questions about curriculum, scholarships, transcripts, NCs, out to lunch, Chick-fil-A? Any questions? Awesome. Okay. Finally, in the last portion of our gathering tonight, I just wanted to go over with you a few changes that we have made. Number one, regarding our cell phone policy, we stopped charging them $10 for each time that their phone was inappropriately used. And the reason that we changed that is because you were paying the $10 and the student wasn't being impacted for his or her decisions. So let me tell you, Where to really impact them is by taking up their social time. Right, Ava? Thank you for letting me put you on the spot. Good girl, good girl. So instead of the $10 fine, now they are sitting detention for 2 hours. We did still maintain the policy that you do need to come and pick up the phone, right? So, you know, we're not only inconveniencing the student for their poor choice, but we're inconveniencing mom and dad. James Ward, right, James? Okay. All right. We still do have ISS during the school day. We still do have out-of-school suspension. And so I just wanted to share those same policies with you. Last year, during our COVID year, we did have 14 absences. We have gone back to 7, right? So, for example, tomorrow is our all-school retreat. It is a non-day. So if a student chooses not to come to these required all-school events, they will receive unexcused absences for all of their A-day classes and all of their B-day classes. And keep in mind, those NCs, those no credits, because of absences, add up. And so if they, at the end of the year, have too many absences, then they owe me seat time. And that is a state requirement because we are accredited by the state of Oklahoma. The drug testing program, we actually accomplished that in 1 morning. Typically it takes us 3 days. But we made changes because of Mount St. Mary's school data when it came to our drug testing data. And so in many conversations with the lab, CRG, we decided that it was best, based on our school data, and the drug that is most commonly found within our students over the last 5 years, which you can probably guess, is marijuana. We found that those positives occurred from those test results, not the hair. Hair goes back up to 90 days. It was from the urine, which goes back about 2 weeks. So we decided that, along with all of the actual public schools who are doing drug testing, with Bishop Kelly and with Bishop McGinnis, we decided to go with the swab that is done under the tongue, and the Q-tip, for lack of a better term, is placed there for a couple of seconds, and then it is submitted into a little small plastic canister and then tested. And so it goes back anywhere from 3 to 5 days. So that's what we're going to use as our testing instrument from here on out. And so every month, we will test 50 students, 25 at one time, and then a couple of weeks later, we'll do 25 later on. So for a total of 50 every single month. You receive, just like usual, just like in the past, you receive the tests first. You receive the results first before we are contacted by the lab. And then in the event of a positive, then we sit down together one-on-one and figure out a plan for each of the students, okay, in that event. Juul and vaping, I'll tell you, it is a crazy, crazy epidemic across the country with our young kids. It is. And I ask you as parents, please pay particular attention to the devices that your students are using. Please don't let them use these Juuls. Nothing surprises me anymore. When I contact a parent because we found a vape on the student, or we found the student in the bathroom vaping, and they're suspended automatically 3 days. I don't care whose vape it is. It is not up for discussion. We are suspending you for 3 days. Invariably, I will hear from a parent, well, it's better than smoking a cigarette. And they try to justify it. Please partner with us and try to help your students not to do this, okay? I will tell you also, these dab pens contain marijuana. And we're finding them here. We are, sadly. So again, just to share with you what is going on and the epidemic that we are facing as an entire parent community across the nation. Mount St. Mary is not unique to this situation, okay? I've already talked about detention, Monday through Thursday after school. I've already mentioned ISS. Parking passes, if your student does have a new car, please register your car with us through the main office so that we can get a Mount St. Mary parking pass added to their car. So our security guard, Mr. Yamas, as he is patrolling the campus throughout the day, he will know that it is one of our cars, okay? Let's see here. Any questions on policies? Any questions from you, please? I wanted to finish up by telling you that our COVID-19 numbers, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. Wendy. Oh my gosh, where's a piece of wood? Thank God we haven't had any yet. But as we talk to our students in our retreats and in our classes and in situations when they do come, you'd be surprised, Wendy, that the kids who are willing to come and share with you, the counselors, or with myself, their concerns and their care for their friends. I am so proud of your kids. I am so proud of them and how they courageously come forward. Another example, just today, have you all heard about the TikTok craze about stealing school items? Get with your kids. You need to do this anyway. Get with your kids and tell them, hey, let's get on your TikTok, because I know they have them, and you know they have them. Ask them, you know what, let's sit down on the sofa together and have a family moment. Let's watch TikTok together. And then ask them, Ignacio, what's the terminology? What's the craze right now?
Something lick. Vicious lick. Devious lick.
Devious lick. You guys will sound so cool when you go home tonight. You really don't. Hey, let's watch a TikTok on a devious lick. And they're going to fall out of the chair. But what it is, and again, it's not unique to the Mount, what's happening is challenges are being made through these TikTok videos of stealing items from teachers, from the restrooms, from the cafeterias, from the gyms. It's happening. And so they record themselves stealing these things because they want to post it on TikTok. And so, as we've had this happen last week, and I'm not kidding you, it's my boys, and it's happening in the restrooms of the male students. And I thought about all these different scenarios to how to tell them to stop. Because really what I thought they were doing early on, and I announced it over the PA, I really thought they were looking for the vape sensors, which we do have. We have them. And so I got on the PA and said, guys, you guys stop. They're pulling the batteries out of the fragrance little machines. Because now I know the TikTok dare was to take batteries. They're taking down bathroom doors. Yes, you're nodding with me, Mrs. Yes. They're taking down the bathroom doors. They're taking teachers' staplers. Mr. Sartorius. Yeah, they were. They took his staplers. And so they're taking, I got a message from a friend in Norman, at Norman High. They're taking down the mirrors from the bathrooms. No, soap dispensers. I don't know how many TikTok pictures I've seen of soap dispensers. So I talked to them yesterday over the PA. Listen, we try to provide nice things for you. We spend a lot of money in cleaning and buying this equipment and having these items for you so that you can have pride and respect for what we have. Today, have some names because some students stepped up because they love our school. And I'm so appreciative and so thankful that they would have the courage to come. Now, don't get me wrong, they'll say, Miss D, you're not going to say our name, are you? No, I'm not going to use your name. I'm pretty clever when it comes to that. So your kids are taking care of not only our school, but they're taking care of one another. And I'm grateful for your guidance and your parenting in teaching them those values. So thank you for that. But just in finishing up, our COVID-19 numbers are really pretty darn good. 97% of our staff is vaccinated. Over 200 of our students are vaccinated. And I shared that with you in my Parent Weekly last Friday. And so many of our students are wearing masks of their own initiative. Same thing with our staff. Many are not, but at this time, as I always say in my verbiage, at this time, we're leaving it mask optional. With the understanding though, when we are at Mass, because we cannot socially distance and we're squeezing in 400 kids into the church over there, we will wear our masks. But when we are in the gym and we can sit on both sides and we can spread out, then it's mask optional. Okay? So again, at this time, this is where we're at when it comes to our COVID numbers. So we're blessed. Our kids have a strong sense of charity towards one another, towards their school. And it's a tribute to you as parents. And I am so grateful for how you have loved us and supported us, but also you gave us your children. And we are so very grateful. They truly are leaders. They truly are living examples of mercy. And so tonight we end with just, again, the appreciation and the love that we have for your children. And here we go. We're going to be sending you emails about mother-daughter luncheon, father-son luncheons. Really, they're breakfasts. We changed them, but they're breakfasts now. They're held in here. We're going to be sending you instructions about the senior announcements. And so we're just so proud to be on this journey with you. So very proud. And I just want to end by saying your kids are fired up about next week. This is something that we have never done before. Mercy Hospital has never hesitated to help us through at least my 19 years of being the principal here. Whether it's my dad's golf tournament or the auction or a huge capital campaign, they helped us with this. They have never hesitated. They've never told us no. So how cool is it to teach our kids about philanthropy and about giving back? So when I met with the student leaders last week, they were fired up about next week in homecoming and what they want to do. I'm not going to tell you the number that they want to raise. When they told me their number, I was just in shock. I was gasping. No, Mr. Negri, we want to do it. Okay, let's do it. How can you squash that love and that enthusiasm for giving back to something bigger than they are? So, yes, they're going to come next week and ask you, Mom, I need $25. Ellie's going to ask you, Renee, I need $25 because I want to pass for Fun Day Monday, which means they can wear sweats every Monday for first semester. Mom, I need $30 because I need to buy a pass for homecoming week so I can participate in every event next week. Mom, I need $100 because I want to see Mr. Sartorius swallow 2 fish. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But you would do it if they raised $500, wouldn't you, Conrad? Wait till you get your evaluation. in this way. I never have seen him take charge, and he's going to be the MC at the assembly. We have the president of Mercy Hospital, Jim Gephardt, coming Monday to our assembly. He wants to talk to the kids, to thank them. Yes, it's a $90 million project at Mercy Hospital, but you know, the $1,000 that my kids are going to raise will mean way more than the $10 million that somebody gave, because it came from the heart. So your kids are amazing. They are, and I love them. We love them so very much. So thank you for giving us your kids. Thank you for being here with us tonight. God bless you. The teachers are here if you have any questions. And here we go. We're on this last journey together, this last year together. God bless you. Good night.